Imagine a country where obesity isn't just a health issue. It's a cultural concern, even a matter of law. That country is Japan. While much of the Western world struggles with rising waistlines, metabolic disease, and stubborn visceral fat, the Japanese remain leaner, healthier, and longer-lived. They don't obsess over calorie counting. They don't punish themselves with extreme workouts. And yes, their diet is rich in carbohydrates. Yet somehow, they avoid the epidemic of obesity that plagues so many other nations. So what's their secret? It isn't magic. It isn't genetics. It's a set of simple, powerful rules woven into daily life. In this first part of the video, we'll explore the very first rule, a habit so deceptively small that most people overlook it, yet it holds the power to shrink visceral fat and transform health. Eating until you're 80% full. The Japanese call it Hara hachi. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about starving yourself. It isn't about rigid restriction or counting every bite. It's about listening to your body's signals and respecting the moment when satisfaction arrives. The truth is, your brain takes about 20 minutes to register fullness. If you rush through a meal, distracted by your phone or the TV, you'll almost always overshoot. You'll eat past the point of comfort, past the point of need. And the result? Excess calories stored as visceral fat, the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs, drives inflammation, and raises the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. But when you slow down, savor each bite, and stop at 80% fullness, you give your body the chance to send the right signal at the right time. You align your eating with biology, not habit. And that's where the magic happens. Long-term studies show that people who practice Hara hachi cut their risk of metabolic syndrome by 10 to 14%. They consume 20 to 25% fewer calories without ever feeling deprived. In Okinawa, where this practice is deeply ingrained, waistlines are 50% smaller than the Western average. That's proof that this habit doesn't just control weight, it protects health for the long run. Think about what visceral fat really is. It's not the fat you pinch under your skin. It's the fat that surrounds your liver, pancreas, and intestines. It's metabolically active, releasing inflammatory chemicals that disrupt hormones, raise blood sugar, and accelerate aging. It's the kind of fat that silently erodes health, even in people who don't look overweight. And the Japanese rule of stopping at 80% fullness is one of the simplest ways to keep it in check. So how can you apply this rule today? First, eat slowly. Cut food into smaller bites, chew thoroughly, and enjoy the flavor. If you want to challenge yourself, try eating with chopsticks like the Japanese. Chopsticks force you to take smaller bites, making it nearly impossible to rush. Second, eliminate distractions. No phones, no Netflix, no screens. Give yourself 20 minutes to eat. If you finish too quickly, stretch the time by adding a few mindful minutes. Third, break meals into smaller sittings. Instead of one giant plate, divide it into 2 or 3 portions. This reduces stress on your digestive system, stabilizes hormones, and keeps cravings under control. And here's something most people don't realize. Hunger signals don't shout, they whisper. If you learn to listen, you'll discover the difference between true hunger and emotional cravings. That's the golden skill for defeating visceral fat. Of course, life isn't always perfect. Stress, busy schedules, unexpected events, they all tempt us to eat for comfort. Food becomes relief, celebration, connection. But if you've trained yourself with Hara hachi, you'll have the tools to stop before it's too late. You'll know the difference between eating for nourishment and eating for distraction. Imagine the ripple effects. By simply changing the way you eat, not cutting out foods, not forcing yourself into misery, you can dramatically reduce calorie intake, shrink visceral fat, and improve overall health. You'll digest better. You'll sleep better. You'll feel lighter, more energized, more in control. And all of it comes from one deceptively simple rule. Stop at 80% fullness. This is why the 80% rule is considered one of Japan's greatest secrets. It's not a diet, it's not a fad, It's a mindset, a way of respecting your body's signals and aligning with its natural rhythm. And once you master it, you'll never look at eating the same way again. In the next part, we'll explore the second rule, a movement habit so simple it multiplies fat-burning results without the need for gyms or extreme workouts. You'll see how the Japanese stay lean and strong by weaving effortless activity into their daily lives. In the first half, we uncovered the Japanese practice of Hara hachi bu, the art of stopping at 80% fullness. It's a deceptively simple habit, yet it has profound power to shrink visceral fat and protect long-term health. Now, let's move on to the other rules that make Japanese culture a blueprint for effortless fat loss. The way they move, the way they build accountability, and the way they cultivate gratitude. The second rule is consistency over intensity. In the West, we glorify extremes, crash diets, punishing workouts, all-or-nothing challenges. But the Japanese understand that small habits, repeated daily, compound into extraordinary results. One of their most effective techniques is interval walking. It sounds almost too simple. Walk briskly for 3 minutes, then slow down for 3 minutes, and repeat this cycle 5 times. That's just 30 minutes. Yet research shows this boosts cardiovascular fitness, lowers blood pressure, improves blood sugar control, and shrinks waistlines. A study from Shinshu University found that interval walking increased oxygen capacity by 15%, dropped systolic blood pressure by 9 points, and reduced waist circumference by 6 centimeters. That's not theory, it's measurable change. And here's the beauty. It doesn't require a gym, equipment, or even special clothing. Just your legs, your breath, and a commitment to consistency. But the Japanese don't stop at structured exercise. They embrace non-structured movement, the quiet compounding of daily activity. Walking to the train, cycling to work, climbing stairs, stretching, fidgeting, standing instead of sitting. These small actions add up. Research shows that non-structured movement contributes 3 times more to your metabolic rate than formal workouts. That means the way you live every day matters more than the hour you spend at the gym. So here's how you apply it. Track your steps. Find your baseline, then add slowly. If you're at 2,000 steps, aim for 3,000, then 4,000. Over time, most people thrive between 6,000 and 12,000 steps daily. Think of steps as your foundation and interval walking as your upgrade. Together, they create a lifestyle where fat loss is automatic, not forced. The third Japanese rule is accountability as culture. In Japan, health is not optional. It's a shared responsibility. They even have a law, the Metabo Law, that sets waistline limits for adults. Men between 40 and 74 must keep their waist under 33.5 inches. Women must stay under 35.4. If they exceed, they're enrolled in mandatory counseling, and companies can be fined. It may sound strict, but the effect is profound. Health becomes the norm, not the exception. Friends, co-workers, and communities support each other. Companies organize group exercise programs. Movement is built into daily life. And while their diet is higher in carbs, it's mostly whole, unprocessed foods, not the ultra-processed junk that dominates Western diets. The average Japanese person walks 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day, more than double the American average. That alone burns an extra 300 to 600 calories daily, enough to keep off 20 pounds of fat per year without ever stepping foot in a gym. The takeaway is clear. Build your own environment of accountability. Surround yourself with people who value health. Normalize nutrient-dense foods. Make movement part of your schedule. And most importantly, adopt the mindset that health is who you are, not something you occasionally do. When you decide that, fat loss stops feeling like punishment. It becomes effortless. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, the Japanese mindset of gratitude and grounding. Stress is one of the biggest drivers of cravings, emotional eating, and weight gain. The Japanese counter this with simple daily rituals, pausing to breathe, listing 3 things they're grateful for, connecting with nature, whether by standing barefoot on the earth or touching a tree. These practices reset the mind, calm the nervous system, and create a foundation for sustainable health. Imagine starting your day not with chaos, but with clarity. Instead of rushing into deadlines and distractions, you pause, you breathe, you list 3 things you're grateful for. That simple act reframes your perspective. It turns stress into calm, chaos into focus. And when you combine gratitude with the Japanese rules of eating, moving, and accountability, you create a lifestyle where visceral fat doesn't stand a chance. So here's the challenge. For the next 2 weeks, practice these rules. Stop at 80% fullness, walk with intervals, add steps, build accountability, ground yourself in gratitude. Do it consistently, and watch what happens. Your waistline will shrink, your energy will rise, your cravings will fade, and most importantly, you'll feel in control again. Visceral fat is dangerous. It fuels inflammation, raises disease risk, and steals years from your life. But it is not invincible. With the Japanese rules, you can defeat it. Not with extremes, not with misery, but with habits that feel natural, sustainable, and empowering. And now, here's my call to action. If this video gave you value, don't let it stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications. Share this with someone you care about. You might change their life. Every view, every share, every subscription helps spread knowledge that can prevent disease and transform health. Don't wait until visceral fat takes its toll. Take action today. Build the habits, live the mindset, and join me in creating a future where health is effortless and longevity is the norm.